Hello friends, Zachary Stockill here from RetroactiveJealousy.com, and in today's video I'm going to share what I believe to be are the two biggest mistakes that people make when they set goals. If you benefit from this video or if you benefit from my work in general, please take a moment to let me know by clicking the like button below and making sure you are subscribed to my channel. In addition, I would absolutely love to hear about your goals. What are you working on lately? What are you excited about? What are you working towards? So if you are setting any goals or if you have any questions about goal setting, please leave a comment below and I'll do my best to get back to you. So over the past, I'd say maybe 5 to 7 years, I've been pretty serious about setting goals. And when I talk about setting goals, I mean specific, measurable, actionable, very concrete goals as it relates to relationships, as it relates to finances, as it relates to productivity, as it relates to friendships even. It's going to sound strange, hear me out, but I'm a big proponent of setting goals in different areas of life. And I don't mean to say that I'm taking the fun out of, relationships and friendships, and I do believe in a certain amount of serendipity when it comes to these things. But the point is I've become much more specific and deliberate is perhaps the best word in terms of how I'm structuring my life and exactly what I'm working toward. And I got a lot of emails from men and women who are working towards goals in their relationships. And the biggest goal that many of these people are working towards is overcoming retroactive jealousy. Obviously, I get a lot of those emails because I'm the author of a book on retroactive jealousy. I create videos on this channel. People feel like they can open up to me and they often tell me, like, I really want to overcome retroactive jealousy. Can you help? Or, I'm so clear on this goal. I'm 100% committed. How do I get to work? This kind of thing. Other people write to me and they're less confident, or they're less clear, shall we say. They kind of say, well, I think I want to overcome retroactive jealousy, but I'm not exactly sure how or even why. I'm not exactly sure if what I'm dealing with is retroactive jealousy. I get other emails from people who are less clear. And in this video, I'm hopefully going to give some people in both of those categories a bit of food for thought. So one thing that I have learned, and I've experienced this both in my personal life, in my professional life, and as well I've seen this in many of the lives of students, coaching clients, and many of my friends and relatives, frankly. One thing I've noticed is that human beings in general frequently underestimate how much they can accomplish. And I'm not trying to just puff you up, and this is not some random rah-rah personal development speak with nothing underlying it. I mean that people frequently astound themselves with how strong they are, with what they can persevere through, and also what they can accomplish. And the thing that I've noticed, the thing that I've certainly encountered in my own life, is that it's so important to be extremely deliberate and specific about exactly what it is we want. Because if we are extremely specific about exactly what we want, that really increases the chances that we'll actually get what we want. So this is mistake number one, as far as I can tell. Not being specific enough about exactly what it is that you want. For example, the obvious example, given the nature of this channel and the nature of my work, someone comes to me and they say, I want to overcome retroactive jealousy. And I would say, okay, that's fantastic. Obviously, I think that's absolutely a fantastic goal, but it's not quite specific enough. How do you want to feel about your partner's past? What exactly does overcoming retroactive jealousy look like for you? How do you want your relationship to change? How do you want your actions and emotions to change? How do you want to change just generally, you, the man or woman you are? How do you want to change? Try to be as exhaustive as possible when you're answering these questions. What exactly do you want as it relates to overcoming retroactive jealousy? Because I guarantee for the people watching this video, hopefully hundreds, hopefully thousands of them, they're going to vary widely in terms of what overcoming retroactive jealousy means to them. They're going to have different feelings. They're going to see it differently than maybe you or I would, or whatever. The point is, we're all going to have slightly different versions of what overcoming retroactive jealousy means to us. And thus it can be extremely worthwhile, extremely useful to spend a lot of time really thinking about this, really getting very, very clear on exactly what that would look like. Now, overcoming retroactive jealousy is kind of abstract. I mean, it is and it isn't. What I'm saying is it's not a concrete goal, like I want to make $100,000 next year. That's very specific. That's very concrete and measurable. Overcoming retroactive jealousy, it's a little tougher to measure. It's a little more abstract. So one exercise you can do when trying to get more clear about exactly what you want and how you want to feel is try to picture yourself, let's say 2 months from now. How do you want to feel? Write down like a typical day. Let's say a typical day with your partner. Like, how do you want to spend that time? What kind of things might you want to talk about? What do you want to do? How do you want to feel? Try to conjure up the emotions of overcoming retroactive jealousy as it specifically applies to you. How do you want to feel in your body, in your breath? Like, do you want to be breathing deeper? Do you want to be sleeping better at night? Do you want to be having more fun with your partner? Do you want to laugh more with them? Whatever this means to you, try to write out like a typical, let's say, perfect day in a perfect world 2 months from now. How exactly do you want to feel as this relates to overcoming retroactive jealousy? So that's mistake number one, as far as I can tell, when it comes to setting goals. People not being specific enough about exactly what it is that they want. Mistake number two, as far as I can tell, is not being specific enough about exactly what they're going to exchange for that goal. This is probably even a more common mistake that people make when they're setting goals. They're very, very, very clear about exactly what it is that they want. And sometimes they meditate on it, or they, visualize it, or they journal about it, or they just sit there and just hope that it comes, or whatever it is. People are very clear about exactly what they want, but they haven't thought about exactly what they're going to exchange for what they want. And by exchange, I'm not necessarily just talking about money. Obviously, depending on what your goal is, money might be a component of that. But when I talk about exchange, I'm talking about something a little more, shall we say, abstract. So we're going to veer into slightly woo-woo territory here. So please just bear with me. I do believe that the universe loves balance. What do I mean by this? I mean that, for example, if I treat someone poorly, if I'm just, nasty to someone, if I'm mean to someone unnecessarily, if I let my temper get the best of me and I take out my frustration on someone, I am pretty darn sure that that is going to come back to haunt me. That eventually someone in my life, very, very shortly, is going to treat me the way that I treated this person. This is just one example, but I really believe that, what goes around comes around, so to speak, and that the universe loves balance. In balance, I mean in terms of energy, really. That the more you give, the more you get. And again, I warned you that we're veering into woo territory here. But, if you want a more sort of practical application for your life, there's a lot of ideas around that about manifestation. So if you just think about something hard enough and you're clear about what you want, and you just sit there and think about it and think, eventually you bring it into your life. And again, as we've already covered, there is something certainly to be said for being very clear about exactly what you want, and thus the odds of it coming into your life are much, much more likely. However, I really don't think that's enough. I think you need to think about what you're going to give for what you want. What are you going to exchange for what you want? For example, if I want more customers, if I want more students in my online course, if I want more coaching clients, if I want more YouTube subscribers, guess what? I can't just sit around and hope for it. I have to make videos like this, and I have to make sure that my channel is the best on this topic. I have to make sure my online course is the absolute best when it comes to overcoming retroactive jealousy. I have to do endless blog posts and, whatever it is. I have to really, really give 100% to my coaching clients, so they'll maybe give me a good testimonial or whatever. The point is, if I just sit around and hope for things to improve, the odds that they're going to improve are pretty low. However, if I give more, if I'm making sure that I'm providing more value and really just offering my gift as much as I can to the world, chances are very good that that's going to help me improve my business, improve my reach, help this message to reach more people. And it's just good for everyone. It's good for you people watching it, hopefully. It's good for students in my online course. It's good for my coaching clients, and it's good for me. Again, the universe loves balance. And if you want to get more, you really have to give more. So coming back to our example of overcoming retroactive jealousy, what are you prepared to exchange for that? Some examples. Let's say you're going to devote 3 or 4 hours reading a new book. Doesn't have to be my book. You can read whatever book you want. But let's say you're going to read a new book on this topic that you haven't read before. You're really going to spend some serious time investigating this in a way that you perhaps haven't before. Or maybe you're going to exchange some money to talk to a therapist or coach. Just book an hour with them or whatever it is. Get your feelings out there and really invest energy also in airing your story and sharing with someone, because maybe to this point you've been scared to do that. The point is to be more deliberate and specific about exactly what you're going to exchange in return for your goal. It's not merely enough to focus on what you want, you have to also focus on what you have to give. And these, I believe, are the two main mistakes that people make when they're setting goals. Not being specific enough about what they want, and not being specific enough about exactly what they're going to exchange for what they want. So what do you want? Again, I'd love to hear from you. If you have any goals, or you're thinking about setting goals, or you have any questions about goals, or whatever the case may be, I'd really love to hear from you. Be sure to leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, if you found this interesting in some way, please take a moment to let me know by clicking the like button below, making sure you are subscribed to my channel, and I will talk to you again very soon.